New York State is doing something that is, I don't know. I bet Mark doesn't like it as the defense lawyer here, but I've never seen anybody do this before, where the statute of limitations has run on all these sexual assault claims, but then they open it. Now, I understood when they did that for kids who are the victims of pedophiles. Like, you're a kid. You may not remember it till you get older, you have flashbacks, you get therapy. Even that was criticized, but that one at least made some sense to me. This is like, you were an adult, you didn't do anything about it at the time. The statute of limitations ran, the door's back open. Walk right through it. And boy, are they ever.
Megyn, if I told you how much time I've spent in the last week up until Thursday, so that people understand, the statute was set to expire. It was not renewed Thursday at midnight. I spent the entire
What statute?
Week,
tell them what you're talking about.
It's the Adult Survivors Act, where they revived the statute for assaults that had taken place in some cases back in the 80s and the 90s. I spent the last week, I don't want to say babysitting, but I will tell you, fully engaged with various clients who were either in the crosshairs or thought they would be in the crosshairs for up until Thursday at 12:15 p.m. or a.m., I should say.
Name names.
They would, yeah, I know there's no names, but I will tell you that, and mind you, you saw what happened with Diddy, and I've represented Diddy in the past, and that was every client's worst nightmare, is that it would come up that there were demands that were made that then you would try to settle, or you would try and get it not filed in some fashion. And then what happened in Diddy's case is, once it became public, then there was a pile-on after that with cases that were decades old, if you will. The mayor of New York was also one of the late-breaking cases. There's been about 5 of them with California-based people here. So it was a week to remember in terms of waiting it out minute by minute until that statute kind of sunsetted, if you will. I find it, and I know you anticipated this, I find it horrific that you have a situation that's not kids, where somebody can be accused of something. In Eric Adams' case, it was 1993. Axl Rose, I believe, was 1989. I've got others that were 2001, 2000. How are you supposed to defend? The whole idea of a statute of limitations is you're supposed to be able to timely decide or defend yourself. How are you supposed to defend yourself from decades-old allegations? How are you supposed to get witnesses? How are you supposed to get where you were, get itineraries, and put together a defense? To me, it's fundamentally unfair. You could not do it, by the way, in a criminal case, but when you're fighting over other people's money, you can do it.
I have to agree. I think, like, we saw this done to Brett Kavanaugh, and it was like, how the hell did he know exactly where he was? I mean, amazingly, he had that date book that actually did give him some ways of defending himself against Christine Blasey Ford. But there is a reason we have the statute of limitations. The defendants are entitled to due process to. If you ask me what I was doing 30 years ago, I have no idea. I don't keep date books. I would have zero way of defending myself against any accusations of bad conduct, Marcia. So I do, as much as I feel for these women and their allegations, the due process standard should not allow this past. We set these statutes of limitations for a reason.
Can I ask Marcia a question? Because this is what got in my craw last week, Marcia, and I'd love to know your response. I understand it. If a woman has been wronged and she's between a rock and a hard place, and she feels like this has been horrific, and this gives her a new opportunity. My problem with this is, why the gold rush in the couple of days before the statute expires? You mean to tell me, out of all of the days of the year, the 365 days of the year, it just so happens that on day 360, that all of a sudden, all of this horrific emotional distress comes to a head just as the statute's about to expire? I hate to be cynical, but that was kind of my reaction. I must have said that 500 times in the last week.
Go ahead.
Well, here's my response to it. I feel badly for the women. I have, former prosecutor, I do feel that way. I feel like I want them to have their day in court. It's not going to be the same as a criminal case. And the points you raise about the statute of limitations and the ability to defend cases that are that old, how do I reconstruct where I've been, what I've done, who I was with, what might have happened in some instances, so old that it would be very difficult to dredge up a memory if you're the man, but the woman is much more likely to remember this and be traumatized by it and suffer for years as a result of it. In fact, you guys just pulled up the story of Julia Ormond, who just filed. She's one of the late filers that Mark remembered, but she's somebody who suffered a real attack, forcible oral copulation by Weinstein, and is now suing her agents, the Weinstein, Miramax, and I believe Disney, and as well as CAA. So I think she has a real case there, and the ability to have your day in court after you have suffered terribly and felt that you were being dismissed. No one would look at you. No one would even file the case. Prosecutors were not all that wonderful back in the day, and I mean quite a long time ago, and made it very hard to get a case filed. When you didn't have physical evidence and you didn't have corroborating witnesses, they really were responding to the times, the sociological times, where people were very inclined to disbelieve rape claims and very inclined to say she's lying, she's making it up, woman scorned, all that sort of thing. And so it was very hard for quite some time to get a case filed, and then very hard for quite some time to get a jury to convict. And we're finally at a place where I think we're starting to understand that women don't necessarily react in the way you expect, and they don't necessarily want to tell a lot of, it's still the most underreported crime. So I want to see these women get their day in court. If they can't make the case, they can't make the case. But we're not talking about criminal sanctions here either, and that's why the concerns about the statute of limitations and the ability to defend are fair concerns for sure. And, it's going to be a problem in proving the case from the prosecution side of it, plaintiff's side of it, that they say, this came forward. Where have you been? Why didn't you report it sooner?
Well,
and why did you wait,
as Mark
says, to the last minute? To
the Julia Ormond one, in particular, may raise those questions because Harvey Weinstein's been out there as a pariah criminally since 2017. I mean, that's really, the Roger Ailes thing happened in 16 at Fox, but nothing happened for another year. And in 17, when the New York Times broke the Harvey Weinstein story, that's when everything exploded with the New Yorker and Foreign Affairs, all of it. So look, all of this is going to come out. I mean, the women are going to be up against it once again to defend their inability to file earlier and to wait as long as they did. That's going to, be brought out. The men are going to have the problem that they do with proving where they were and what they were thinking or who they were with. All of that's going to shake out eventually. But letting them have their day in court, I am not opposed to this. I think that, damn it, finally, we're getting to the place where we're taking women seriously. I'm for it. It's the Christmas and holiday season, everyone. Time for gift giving, parties with friends and family, and getting compliments everywhere you go. Looking years younger, thanks to Genucel. From now through Christmas, Genucel's most popular package is more than 70% off at Genucel.com. Treat yourself and a loved one to the absolute best skincare in the world. See those troubling forehead wrinkles, fine lines, skin redness, pesky bags and puffiness, and even a sagging jawline disappear with Genucel's most popular collection. And with its immediate effects product, see results in less than 12 hours, guaranteed, or you get your money back. Plus, included in every most popular package is a free hyaluronic acid serum for skin hydration that will restore your youthful appearance. Go to Genucel.com/MK60 now. Enter my special promo code MK60 for an additional 10% off your entire order. Every order today instantly upgraded to free express shipping. Genucel.com/MK60. That's GENUCEL.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.